Hi, this is Abby with another reflection on the tarot, and today we're talking about the Ace of Swords. So, like normal, I'm going to be doing this using Lectio Divina, which is a 4-step spiritual practice. There's a description below if you want to know more about it, but I'm going to walk you through it as we go. So the first question in this modified Lectio Divina is, what does the card traditionally look like? And in the most traditional deck, the Weight Rider, it is a sword with a crown on top of it being held by a hand from a cloud. So in my deck that I use more often, the Byzantine Tarot deck, it is pretty similar actually. Just putting it there real quickly. It's a sword being held by a hand as well, but there are flames on the bottom of the card and there's light shining down from the top, and in the background you kind of see an army. So obviously the hand holding a sword is a very important image in this particular card. Which leads us to question 2, which is, what does this card traditionally mean? Well, there are a number of things this card can mean. In general, swords are often very much about the mind, the headspace, very much mental activity, your intellect, and about finding truth. And this card in particular, the Ace, is calling people to use this card to use their intellect to cut through all of the junk in lives or in projects, to really focus down and find what the truth is, and also then to take that and have success. You can use all this mental activity and this energy, because there's a lot of energy in this card, to go and really dive down, use those skills you have, that mental space, and create some kind of success in your life. The other theme in this card is about the concept of power. It's similar with the finding truth that I mentioned, as there's power and there's truth there. So it's really calling the person to find the truth in a situation using that intellect, and then take that and bring power to a situation to change things, to even to find the truth, but then to take the power you have from that and move forward. So that brings us to the third question as, what does this card remind me of? And what caught me when I was looking at my deck was the fire in the card, and just the amount of power that comes with fire. And power is an interesting thing. I talk about leadership a lot in my day-to-day life, but I don't really focus on power, and no one in my circle really focuses on power. And I think that's because there's a really hard relationship between power and leadership, because often power can be used poorly, and that's when it gets used poorly in leadership. But I think we often think of power as being absolute power corrupts absolutely. And so there's almost a taboo in the sphere I work with talking about power. And so I was a little not sure what to do with this image of power. It was very strong with me. But what came with that image of fire is the image of the phoenix, which is a bird that bursts into flames and then from the ashes is reborn. And so the fire image is incredibly powerful, but it completely destroys this bird at the end of its life. But from those ashes, something is created. And I think this is the power that this card is reminding me of. It's the power of life after destruction. Sometimes things need to be destroyed so that they can be rebuilt. And I think it's being very influential for me right now, because I'm seeing all these protests and I'm taking part in some here and there. And the one that's really personally in my life right now is the Poor People's Campaign, which is a movement of people who are living in poverty rising up and saying, we're not going to take this anymore, calling out politicians to change policies, to change what is going on. And so what I'm seeing is people who, in some terms, don't have any power in our society, don't seem to have any power, but they are claiming their own power. They are saying, I am not powerless, I can do something about this, and I have even more power when I have people around me who are supporting me. So we, little by little, all of our little pieces of power are come together to create an even bigger power that can challenge this huge power. And I don't know what will come of this, but you see in lots of really nonviolent movements similar things, people who don't have power saying, actually I do. They're breaking that system of oppression and being told that they don't have any kind. And they're taking that and they're in some ways trying to destroy, to burn down the systems that are holding them down and oppressing them, and then having something new rise out of it. And I think that is a beautiful image, and that is what I'm seeing really in this card. Which leads me to question number 4, which is, what does this card call me to do? And I think maybe the card is calling me to recognize those places in my own life where I need to claim my power, and maybe places where I need to use the power I have and my privileges for the betters of those around me, and maybe try to think about where I'm not using my power, where I'm using my power poorly. So that is the Ace of Swords. As always, I would love to hear what you think about this card. Reflections are not just a one-way street, they should be a two-way street. In the meantime, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, leave reviews so that other people can easily find it. And I will see you next week with a new tarot reflection. Bye!